Hello and welcome back. I'm super excited to be here today with Veronica Rossi, who's Sustainability Manager and responsible for the Tierra project for Lavazza. Welcome, Veronica.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here. I work in the Lavazza Sustainability Department in Lavazza headquarters in Turin, northwest of Italy, and I am responsible for the sustainability reporting of the Lavazza Group as well as the Lavazza Foundation projects, as you said, the Tierra projects. The Lavazza Foundation has been established already quite a long time ago in 2004, and it's the tool that the Lavazza company decided to establish to manage the Tierra projects. Tierra projects are the first sustainability experiences, projects, and then products that the Lavazza company set up at the end of the 90s. And in 2004, the projects were so many and so important that the company decided to establish the foundation. Nowadays, Lavazza Foundation manages 25 sustainability projects in 17 countries around the world. 3 continents are involved, and we work with more or less 100,000 farmers around the world. So,
what does sustainability mean to Lavazza?
That's a big question and a good one. Actually, when we talk about sustainability, and especially in the last 2 or 3 years, we talk about a process of integration of environmental and social criteria in all of the business operations. Sustainability is not just, a project in Colombia or in Brazil, which is part of it. Sustainability means doing business in a precise way, taking care of the environment and the people, both the people producing coffee, the people working in Lavazza, and the people consuming our coffee. So we try to have a 360 degrees approach, trying to really take care of environmental and social aspects along the entire value chain.
So what are the key issues around sustainability that the coffee industry needs to address?
Well, in this precise historical moment, I see 2 big challenges. The first one is climate change. Climate change is threatening coffee. It's literally threatening the availability of coffee and the quality of coffee. If climate change is not properly tackled and we don't respond to climate change in a good way, we really have the risk of losing coffee in 50 years, 30 years. We don't know. The pace is really going fast. Yeah. So this first challenge leads to the second one, which is the social and economic sustainability of the coffee business for farmers. If farmers do not have enough coffee or do not have a high quality coffee, they will abandon coffee. They will go to other crops. So to be sustainable, this business needs to tackle these two big issues, climate change and economic and social sustainability of coffee for farmers. That's my opinion, but I think most of our friends in the coffee industry will agree with me. Tierra is just one example of how we are trying to tackle these issues. The Tierra projects are projects we, as Lavazza Foundation, we finance and support through the help of local partners, be it NGOs, associations, cooperatives, or local traders or local industries. What we do is we promote training programs for farmers, assistance programs for farmers, especially technical assistance. We try to help them treat their coffee in the best way possible to have a high quality coffee, which is also economically viable and which takes care of the environment. These can be done just by training and assistance, because high quality coffee is especially growing up in the mountains, in remote places. So we need to go there and work together with farmers on the ground. And that's what we're trying to do, trying to face the challenges I already mentioned. So the environmental challenge, trying to foster, for example, agroforestry systems. So trying to respond to climate change by diversifying the production, and also trying to respond to the social challenges, especially involving young people, trying to get them passionate about coffee in order for them to stay in the field, because we need farmers, we need, not farmers actually, we need entrepreneurs. And so we try to foster the entrepreneurship of young people in the fields. And last but not least, women. Women are crucial in the coffee industry. 70% of the picking activities are done by women, but just 20% of women own coffee lands. So women are fundamental in this process, but they need to be empowered. So that's why also women empowerment is one of the pillars of the Lavazza sustainability strategy in coffee producing countries.
Wow, excellent. Now, I know we're going to have a little tasting in a minute, but I'd love if you could give us a bit of background on one specific project, which is part of the Tierra project, and that's in the Meta region in Colombia.
So Meta is not a typical coffee region in Colombia. You always hear about Cauca, Huila, but Meta is not typically a coffee region. Why? Because first of all, Meta is located between the mountains and the Amazon forest. So it does not look to the ocean, but it looks to the Amazon forest. And so this is not typically a coffee region, but Meta has been a coffee region in between the 50s and the 60s. The problem in this region is that it has been a guerrilla region. The war and illegal crops and illegal trafficking has unfortunately characterized this region between the 70s and the first years of 2000. So unfortunately, coffee has been abandoned in this region. The good thing is that some coffee has been saved there, and some good coffee actually is there. The project we are supporting since 2015 in the region has the objective of making coffee reflourishing in the region as an economic opportunity for farmers, because you know the hostilities in Colombia has been slowing down. The peace process has begun again, and this region has experienced in 2012 a program, a governmental program called the Land Restitution Program. The government basically donated the earth to the land, to young farmers who wanted to come back, or at least young people who wanted to come back to the region of their fathers and grandfathers to take the land again and restart the land. So it's really a project of restarting. What we did in this 5 years was supporting the community in replanting 1 million coffee trees in the region. And of course, training them, assisting them in the renovation of the coffee plantations. And what we tried to do also was fostering the reforestation of the area too. Because as you can imagine, with the guerrilla, with the illegal crops, and with the trafficking there of illegal crops, again, has devastated the landscapes. So we needed to, yes, making coffee reflourishing, but also reforest the region. So that's a bit the main areas of intervention that we are financing since 2015.
Tell us a little bit what's special about this location in the Meta region and the community that it supports.
Well, it's a region full of national parks. For example, the project area is located near a park called La Macarena, which is full of rivers, full of biodiversity, and that's one of the special things about this region. There are many special things, starting from the ancient coffee trees, which were saved from the devastation all over the years, and which have a special taste too, because as I say, the region is between the mountains and the Amazon forest. So it's really interesting and it's crossed by a lot of rivers. So these natural patterns gives coffee a very special flavor. That's for the coffee side, let's say. From the social side, what's really fascinating, in my opinion, about this region and this project is that young people are coming back to the fields, which is, something which is completely the opposite of what is happening all around the world. Yeah. Basically, young people are fleeing fields because of, they wanted to look for opportunities in the cities. In this region, young people are coming back because they want to take their land back. And in the words you will listen to of the young protagonists of the film, you will see that, you will hear that they are happy to be back. They want to give this land the, let's say, the richness back, the richness which has been, devastated from war and from illegal trafficking. Coffee can be an opportunity in this.
Yo vengo de un papá que fue muy cafetero, le gustó mucho el café, pero debido a las enfermedades, a los problemas de falta de apoyo, habíamos terminado el café, pero
llevamos 10 años viviendo acá. Cuando nosotros compramos esta finca era una finca cocalera y primero vino una erradicación por medio de la policía y nosotros ya esto quedó sin árboles, desierto.
En el 2004 nos encontramos mis hijas y yo 56 planticas de café, ya que la finca llevaba aproximadamente unos 25 años abandonada. Cuando entramos a la finca toda estaba en puro monte, en montaña, no había nada, pues nos pusimos a hacerlas limpias. Y mis hijas y yo nos pareció pues mucha curiosidad que después de 25 años todavía estuvieran esos semilleros. Entonces les dije yo a mis hijas que los sembráramos y de ahí empezó a nacer la idea.
Luego empezamos con unos palos de café y a medida que empezamos un proyecto, por medio de eso sembramos café y ahorita pues hemos mejorado y tenemos 2000 palos de café por medio de la Baxa.
Ya a los 6 meses pues nos pareció muy hermoso porque las planticas ya estaban de este porte, las maticas de café, y parecían unos abuelitos en ese momento, Blanquita, pues eso nos inspiró a nosotros a empezar la producción del café. Con el tiempo ya llegó la corporación La Baza, que nos ha dado mucho apoyo, tanto en capacitaciones como en materiales plásticos, donde nos enseñaron los trampagrasas, cómo cuidar y proteger el medio ambiente. Eso ha sido de mucha ayuda para la finca.
El cultivo se hace con amor porque siempre hemos estado en él, siempre hemos tratado de cultivarlo con cariño.
Logró acercar más a los productores, ya que les estamos enseñando a realizar las cosas bien desde un principio. ¿Desde un principio cómo? Desde la siembra, desde empezar a manejar las plantas en campo, de protegerlas contra enfermedades, de dar las dosis nutricionales para que tengan buenas producciones. Entonces, todo este conjunto de conocimientos que se le está dando a los productores hace que ellos se empiecen a enamorar mucho más de este de este cultivo para que puedan mejorar todas las condiciones dentro de la finca, la producción de café con el medio ambiente y la parte social.
He notado una diferencia en el café ahora que después, porque el mejoramiento del café ha sido mejor, ha estado más bonito el café, ha producido más cantidad y el grano más sano, más bonito, y ha salido una mejor calidad para el procesamiento.
Yo tuve un accidente, a mí me cayó un rayo, entonces me sacó de servicio y duré un tiempo incapacitado, la finca abandonada, los cultivos, porque pues lo que yo había aprendido no se lo había enseñado a los trabajadores, ni a los hijos, porque los hijos no mantenían en la finca. Entonces ya con el apoyo de los agrónomos, entonces que hay que hacer esto, que hay que recolectar, que recoger todos los frutos que estaban secos, sobresecos, caídos en el piso, hacer una limpieza total del cultivo y arrancamos ya la nueva cosecha que viene, está de muy buena calidad.
Yo quiero que nuestro café sea exportado a todo el mundo para que cuando lo prueben se den cuenta la calidad que se cultiva aquí en Colombia. De la misma manera empiecen a valorar el trabajo que es para cultivarlo. Queremos mucho el café, pero si no nos lo valoran, ¿para qué lo cultivamos? Si sabemos de que no nos va a dar resultado sembrarlo. Gracias al apoyo de la BASFA, que es el que en este momento nos está apoyando, y por eso es que nos sentimos orgullosos de estar acá empezando nuevamente.
He visto muchos ejemplos de personas de aquí, de mi región, que esperan terminar su bachillerato, su estudio, para irse a otros lugares donde piensan que van a tener mejor calidad de vida. No se dan cuenta que aquí, donde crecimos, vamos a tener una vida hermosa. El tema del café a mí me apasiona. Ver a mi papá trabajar con el café hace que, no sé, que mi corazón palpite, porque amo el café, amo tomar café y amo ver que aquí hay un futuro y una vida para las demás generaciones.
Wow, wasn't that incredible? Veronica, I wonder if you could share perhaps your favorite moment from that short film.
Yeah, with pleasure. I saw this movie many times, but every time I get emotional about the young girl at the end of the documentary saying that her heart beats because of coffee. And when I hear these words, I just say, I need to keep working with passion and motivation for these people, because they really are the engine of our industry.
Wow, well, my heart certainly beats for coffee, and we're going to taste some of the coffee from that very project. I'm really excited to welcome here Dave Cutler, who's the coffee professional at Lavazza UK, and really excited to be tasting this coffee from this very region. So here we go. Can't wait. So
Cheers.
tell us
it's
about the coffee.
lovely to be here. Thank you for having us. So this is our interpretation of that special Colombian coffee, and how nice it is to be able to taste the coffee from the very thing that we've just seen. So it's a Lavazza coffee, so it has our DNA running through it. It's an espresso, so we have that lovely richness, that sweetness that we can associate with really nice premium washed Arabica. There's a nice balance in there between sort of honey and jasmine and some tropical fruit flavor running through it. So it's really nice to find a coffee and an area of coffee producing that produces something that's a little bit different as well. So yeah, I hope you like it, but I think it's an absolute cracker.
Excellent. This has been so interesting and so amazing. Veronica, I wonder if you could share perhaps some of the future of the Tierra projects and what we're likely to see from Lavazza?
Of course. What we need to say is that we don't have to forget that now we are in the middle of a crisis. So COVID-19 has been unfortunately eating a lot of the communities we work in. So Lavazza Foundation has been very active in this last months to support communities with aid to tackle the COVID crisis. But we want to look at the future with positivity, and we are working also with many other communities in Tierra projects like the one we are doing in Colombia. One of it is Brazil. Tierra Brazil is a very robust project going on since some years already. Mexico, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and in Asia we are active in India, Vietnam. In Africa we are in Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda. So as I say at the beginning, we are active in 17 countries. The Tierra projects are trying to get the best coffee out of the communities we are supporting while looking at social and environmental aspects with care. So I see a future which is really promising from the coffee point of view, and I am really excited about the new projects coming in the next months. So stay tuned, and because many good things and new things will come from Tierra.
Thanks so much, Veronica, for joining us here today. That was such an inspiring story. A big thanks also to Dave, who's made this wonderful coffee from the Meta region, part of the Tierra project. You're now going to give a masterclass, I hear.
Hello everyone. So my name's Dave and I'm a coffee specialist and a brand ambassador for Lavazza here in the UK. Now, having watched that amazing film from the wonderful farmers up in the Meta region of Colombia, I'm going to brew that beautiful coffee in two different ways. First of all, as espresso, and then as a V60 pour over. And when I'm doing that, I'm going to walk you through some of the considerations that I make when looking to dial a coffee in for taste, to get the best flavour in the cup, which after all is what we're really after every time, right? So we're going to start off with espresso. Now, with this coffee here, the first thing I notice is that the roast is medium. And what that means, of course, is not only as you roast coffee do you change the coffee's flavour and profile, but you also change its solubility, and that can often get overlooked, which means that darker roasted coffees, being more soluble, have a propensity to over-extract, create bitterness, and that isn't a flavour that we want inside the cup. Conversely, lighter roasted coffees are less soluble and therefore can be prone to under-extracting, leading to higher acidity and sometimes even a sour taste. So to try and get that balance, we need to mitigate some of those factors. So because this coffee is medium, I'm going to err on the side of caution, and I'm going to look to reduce some of my variables to avoid over-extracting it and creating a bitter taste. Because after all, what I want to do is to try and find those in-cup flavors that we got during the cupping. Those lovely aromas of jasmine, those tropical notes, the citrus fruit notes. So that's what we're hunting out, not the bitter ones. So the first thing I've done is I've reduced the temperature of the brew water. I've taken it down from sort of 95, 96, where I would normally sit for a lighter roasted coffee, and drop that down to 93. I'm also using a higher dose and a lower yield. So that shortened brew ratio means that you get less contact time with the water, the solvent, which means you're going to extract less. Also, that tighter brew ratio, that smaller ratio, means that you're going to get more solids inside the cup. You're going to get a thicker texture, a more sort of rounded, chewier mouthfeel, and I find that suits this coffee and tends to suit darker roasted coffees particularly well. And finally, what I've also done is backed off the grind just a little bit. Normally, we'd crank it up a bit to get those extractions in the early 30s. This, we've knocked it back just a little coarser to allow that extraction to happen in sort of the mid to late 20s. Now, as I said, it's all about balance. Trying to find that optimal balance in the cup of sweetness, first and foremost, followed by enough acidity, depending on the style of coffee that you're using, to carry some of that sweetness through and get those really juicy, fruity flavors, along with some good texture and mouthfeel. So that's our ratio. It's good time on that. Smells fantastic. Tastes even better. 2 beautiful Colombian espressos. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the V60 pour over now. And a few considerations when working, in this case, with a pre-ground product, when you can't adjust the grinder to affect the extraction. So what do? So again, now because this coffee has been roasted for filter, it is lighter than the espresso, but it's still maybe not as light as some of the coffees that I've worked with before. So I'm going to take my standard pour-over V60 recipe, and I'm going to make a few little amendments. Now, I'm still using the same ratio that I would do normally. I like an in-cup strength of filter to be around 1.3 TDS. And what that means is that I want to keep a ratio of around 1 to 16, or roughly 60 grams to a litre to achieve that. Any less coffee and it starts tasting a little weak, any more it's a little strong for my taste. So if we're keeping the ratio the same, how can we limit extraction on a darker roasted coffee that perhaps is pre-ground? Well, again, we can look to the brew temperature. Normally at V60s, you would be up at around maybe 94 or 95 degrees. And this one, I found that by dropping it down to 92 is enough energy taken away from the water. Again, the solvent is what's dissolving the flavor of the coffee, just to bring that extraction more in line with the way that I like the taste. I'm still going to brew in a similar way, so I'm still going to do a pre-infusion or a bloom or a pre-soak, however you want to call it, and that will be fairly standard by adding, again, double the weight of the coffee of water for that 30-second bloom. So we're just going to do that now. We're going to give it a little swill just to make sure all those grounds are saturated while we leave it to bloom. And then normally what I would do is I break the next part of the cycle off into two sections. So I would look to get 50% of my remaining brew water in the next 30 seconds, give it a bit of an agitation, a bit of a stir, a controlled stir of course, before putting the remaining brew water in. Now I found when I did that, it was over-extracting. It just wasn't quite balanced. So if you remove that agitation, again, you get a better in-cup profile for this coffee with these parameters that I've got. So rather than stopping this part of the cycle halfway through and giving it a bit of a stir, I'm just going to slowly let the V60 cone fill and allow it to do its thing. Let the coffee do the work. So fantastic, so we've got our brew water now, that's all completely full. We've got our ratio, we've got our extraction happening in place. And what we want to do just finally is give that V60 a little spin, a little swirl, just to help with the drawdown. What that will do is it will bring the coffee grounds away from the sides, form a flatter bed, and that way when the water is passing through it, you get a more even extraction and effectively a better tasting cup of coffee, in my opinion. So there we have it, a beautiful, wonderful Colombian filter, wonderful aromas of honey, little notes of jasmine on there as well. The espresso, again, lovely and concentrated as espresso should be. It's sweet, it's rich, and a lovely citrus note undertone. So two beautiful ways to brew a beautiful coffee. So thanks for watching, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm sure I'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of the festival.